Hey everybody, welcome to Leon's Chainsaw Parts and Repair. So we're going to do a follow-up video on the XL-660. We'll do a little work on it today. And what I've decided to do, unplug that fan since I know that's picking up in the background. What I've decided to do is split the difference. Okay, we're going to dress this for battle, so to speak. Get it ready so that when spring comes and I can get back up on the firewood hill, we'll do some cutting with this. Like I say, I've got some good trees that need to be cut down, and oh boy, the bar that I want to run on it, yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. We're going to dress it for battle. We're going to change out that muffler and not a whole lot else. I went through this a little and cleaned up just a little bit. And by clean up, I mean just blow out the nasty crap. The paint is rough. The paint is definitely rough. It's going to get a full resto. Just not yet. So I needed to order a bar stencil for yet another project that'll be here before too long. And I don't know how much of a project it's going to be. I actually don't think it's going to be a huge project. I think it's just going to be a huge addition to the collection. And yet another saw in the spring that I want to get some footage of. We've got some really fun stuff happening right now, but I don't want to blather too much. Let's do some work on this real quick. This won't be a super long video, at least I don't think it will be. This shouldn't be complicated work by any stretch. I have rat-holed a few parts here and there because that's what I do. And what I want to do is put the chrome muffler on. Get this stack muffler off, because it is, even though it's cool and all of that, it is noisy. And there's no spark suppression on it. Okay, because we're in here, we're going to take a peek-see at the piston. Actually, there we go. Not bad. Not bad for a 65 or 66 model. I actually haven't looked the serial number up, but yeah, that looks pretty stinking good. Pretty stinking good indeed. But let's put a muffler on it that I can live with. I don't remember where I got this one, or what it was off of. Who knows, it could have come off of eBay, for all I know. But it's been cleaned up enough that it fits this saw, and even when we get it restored, it'll fit this saw. And by fit, I mean look appropriate. Well, I've said in previous videos working on these, I like to use a little Loctite on these, which is pretty controversial. There are some people that want to use anti-seize because of problems they've had with getting these studs out of the cylinder heads. I haven't had that problem that I can recall. I don't know if I've had one of these saws that I've had to drill out. I think there was a C-Series one time that I had an issue with it. But in reality, if you don't cross-thread these, and if they're rusty, don't put them in, clean the threads out, you shouldn't have a problem. But to each their own. Where I like to use the anti-seize is the screws that go into these two big studs. That's where I've had oodles of trouble. And especially if you have the kind of muffler where you've got the tangs that are built into the muffler with the not weld nut, but it's crimped into place. Those especially like to tear out. Just don't get crazy, and you'll probably be okay. But if a saw has sat for 40 years, yeah, you could have some trouble. Oh, that is so nice. I like that a lot. Oh, did I do the stupid though? I did the stupid. But at least we know everything is lined up now. Helps to get everything in the right order, doesn't it? I think I might have done that even on another recent video. Okay, the spark arrestor I could have put on separate. Oh well. What are you gonna do? Alright, where is my anti-seize? Oh, there it is. No. That's Permatex. Where the hell's my anti-seize? There it is. So, we'll set the muffler cap in place. That all looks good. These screws are the ones that I personally want anti-seize on. Now this stuff makes a mess, and I am demonstrating that very thoroughly right now. So I got way too much out. If you get this on your fingers, it's going to go everywhere, all over your saw. But a nice healthy dose of it into these studs is not a bad thing in my experience. That is where you're most likely to get a seized screw. Okay. And I am not at all worried about those rattling off. Yep, that's in. That, not only does that look better, as far as I'm concerned, it's going to sound better to my ears as I'm trying to cut. Now, I want to run, bar that has a 3/8 slot. Not that I want to run it, it's just that I'm going to run it because that's what I have. There's a reason I put some of those away for a rainy day. That will allow us to run that slot bar and not have any issues. So I might as well reveal that. It's another thing that I put away for a rainy day. It's a nice 20-inch roller nose. This is new. Now it's marked a 19 on the part number there. We'll put it on and then measure and see if I agree with that. If I can do this. Oh yeah. Not a problem. Slipped right in. Beautiful. The only thing I don't have at the moment is a proper 5/16 plate. So I will use one of those 3/8 ones on the outside. And it'll just have to be good enough. Now, I did off camera change out that bar stud. If you watch the first video, I don't remember if it was front or back. I gotta give McKell or whoever did this in Europe credit. They took a regular bolt and made a stud. Now it's metric, and that's why this had a different size nut. That's great when you have to do it. I don't want that here where I have access to proper size, or original, we'll say. Original parts, so that I can have a 5/8 bar nut back on here. And when I go to do some work, I don't have to worry about having more than one size wrench with me. I can guarantee you I don't have any metrics that go in the woods. I guess that's not true. I do under the seat of the pickup, because of course that pickup has more than its fair share of metric fasteners on it. Now, this has a spur sprocket on it, and that's going to stay that way. But I'm going to leave this a little bit loose. God, that chain. Why would I have that on there? That chain's a piece of crap. That's a safety chain. What kind of a... Huh. What am I doing? That's silliness. I gotta get that off of there. That is silly. Very silly. No self-respecting person will be caught dead with this in the woods. Oh, I'm making that up now. It's not for my style of cutting. Can't believe I didn't look at that closer. I think we'll count the links and make a new chain. Okay, that makes more sense. It is a 70 link chain. First time I counted 69, so apparently, being Friday afternoon, my brain and my counting abilities have gone kaput. Where did I put? Oh, right behind me. These reels of chain have gotten so much more expensive than they were, ouch, pre-pandemic. A box of 3/8 like this, you're up close to, what is it, $400 some. A 100-foot roll. 100-foot roll of 404 in most places is well over $500 now. So that's not great. That's what I'll say about that. It's not great. Okay. This one fell on top of a cutter. We'll see how that goes this time, whether we reuse it or not. I'm going to color the top. Whoop, I colored the top of the cutter and my finger. So, let's head over there. Okay, let's see if that actually helps. Maybe. So, the last time I showed this on video, it didn't work out as well as I'd hoped. So this groove is for a cutter. Now we are breaking at a cutter. So that allows the tip of the cutter, that edge, to not be impacted by the breaking of the rivets. So you tighten the vise down, so to speak. What you're tightening down on is the underside of that tie strap. Okay. Just a little bit more so you'll lay flat. There we go. Now I will try to do this time without putting my finger in the shot. There we go. I find that steadying this chain helps with your finger. You guys should have been able to see that come apart or go through. Now this one, you can stay in there. There we go. Now that was clean. And I've got a right and a left cutter that I'll put up there. Bring this back out. And we'll decide how we're going to do this. Okay. I have it inside out. Ain't that brilliant? Okay. So it doesn't matter. We got a blank and a blank. And we have a right hand and a left hand. So it really doesn't matter which one I choose to use. There's going to be two in a row, which is okay. That's pretty normal for chain. Does not matter at all. Note that this time there's no bunged up edges on the drive links here because the vise didn't slip and tear it all to smithereens like it did the last time. I'll grab a preset. Spin this up. Okay. Now this time we want to be focused over here, so I'm going to get that handle out of the way, but not smack myself in the not good areas. There we go. It actually is working out pretty well. So we're going to go with this right hand cutter because it's the one that I colored, and that really means nothing. It doesn't matter. It's just there. Now, can I use that to my advantage? Get that piece of chain to stay up there so that it's not loading it up. Yeah, maybe. Gotta open this door though. I cannot spin that rivet. Alright, we're going to start on the front. Try and keep the shenanigans to a minimum. Stay put. Some oil in here. Okay. Yeah, that spun out pretty good. Yeah, that's tight. Or tight enough. Okay. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. Alright, let's try this again. We'll put this where it pretty much belongs. That's great. I like that. Give it a little juice. There's more than a little, but that's okay. If she's going to cut some wood, it'll need oil anyhow. And I'm hoping that wood cutting's only a month or two away. Looks pretty sweet, doesn't it? Pretty dang sweet. Alright, well, you know we gotta run it. We'll see if it starts quicker than it did last time. am pretty convinced that there's some carburetor work that needs to be done to this. We've got lots of HS material on the channel, so I'll do that off camera. We'll end this here. And this saw will next be seen on the firewood hill, XL-660. This is how it's going to look in the collection for now. We'll restore it later. The decals are on their way. That'll be my motivation to get it done. But I want to cut with it first. Catch you guys in the next video. Alright, the story's not ending there. Two things. Three things. One, when I'm as tired as I am, I probably shouldn't be messing with these, because I make mistakes, okay? Remember how I said I didn't know why those needles were sticking out so far? And it was an SDC1? That doesn't belong on this saw. This is a McCulloch carburetor, okay? It's a Walbro, it's an SDC, it'll fit. But that's why these needles are so much longer. So I traded it out for a Tillotson HS4D, which is what should be on this saw. And it still won't hold a high rev. She's got a bad condenser. Okay, I am virtually certain of that. Based on the fact that it has spark, and it will run, but then it kind of loses it on the top end. Under load, this wouldn't cut for beans. Where have we seen that before? We saw that on the XL-500. What, a year and a half ago? Whatever it was. Now, being a Phelon, this is a sweet piece of cake. I got a lot of Phelon condensers. So I'm going to change that out. Say we try that again. Now I've got even more work to do. Okay, that video ended prematurely with the merry chase that we've run on this saw. I went through the whole ignition system because it wouldn't spark on the tester. But that really wasn't the problem. Even when I got everything taken care of on the ignition system, we're still having trouble. Went through that entire carburetor, even replaced the high-speed nozzle screen. Needed it, but it still would lean out. So I finally got frustrated. Let me grab that tank. got frustrated and put a piece of the Tygon on here so I could watch the fuel coming up. And I was seeing a crap ton of air bubbles. Okay. So what Kit Kat has in her hands right now, that you guys can't see, there you go. That's the Wick. This is an early enough tank that they were still using these Wick fuel pickups.
Felt?
Yes, it's a felt, exactly. And it connects right down there. This is dirty. That's why it was outside. This is the tank that was on there. The reason I got an extra tank is because of the holes in the bottom that have been patched. The seller sent the extra tank. Anyway, your fuel pickup is right there. Okay? So this spot on that Wick would be right down there. And the hardware that attaches it is a spring-loaded screw and washer. And this is supposed to just basically press all this felt into where the fuel pickup is, which would be somewhere right about here, right about where this finger is.
But we replaced it with one of those like little hoses.
Exactly. So my suspicion, because I've had this happen, the XL-500, same thing. I never got it to run right until I put a standard tank on it. Now, I wanted to maintain the look. Okay, so when you spin this fitting out, you know, you've got to take this all apart in order to do this. You've got to have this tank cover off. But what you can do on the back side of that fitting is take a cylinder pulse line barb for a 360. I think it's a 69833, something like that. It happens to tap into the back of that pickup elbow perfectly. A nice tight fit. And then you can take a piece of quarter or a 1/8 by 1/4 fuel hose Tygon and put a standard OW 497 Tillotson style filter,
Yeah, they
or
work
the
really
Homelite
well.
equivalent, the one with a replaceable felt. The downside is if you ever have to service that, you do have to take the tank back off and split it again. But this tank's not leaking a drop, and I sealed it with my old buddy Permatex Motoseal. So whatever the case is, it worked.
It only took a day till dry.
Yeah, yep, we let it sit by the fireplace overnight, and that cured it up perfectly in this
Yep.
cold weather. Why don't you put your earmuffs back on, because I want to show these folks that it'll hold a rev now. Remember, that's what it would not do. Okay. Now we'll end this video. Homelite XL-660, slightly modified. Super stoked to have it in the collection. Catch you guys in the next one.